Hi everyone, it's Tox from CritTappin.com. Thanks for watching and welcome back. Today we're in the game room and we have a special critical review for you of a game that's live on Kickstarter right now and actually already successfully funded. It's from Stonemaier Games and it's called Viticulture, the strategic game of winemaking. Winemaking? Yes, winemaking. Through worker placement, this game puts you in the role of owning a winery in Italy, where you will plant vines, harvest grapes, crush them, and turn them into wine to sell for victory points and money, and ultimately become the best winery in all of Italy. Let's take a look at the components, and then we'll tell you a little bit about the gameplay. Viticulture combines several things into a complete package. Starting with the romanticism of wine as a theme, Stonemaier Games have actually built a worker placement game that puts you in control of the vineyard with the goal of making and selling the best wine in Italy, profiting and ultimately being the best winery in all the country. It's a 2 to 6 player game that plays in about 45 to 90 minutes that is played over rounds with different seasons, from all 4 that we're familiar with: spring, summer, fall, and winter. You'll notice over here that there is a gameplay chart and it shows you all of the actions that you can take in each one of those seasons. Now, as you can see, like I said before, this is a print and play version. It's not the final product. That said, you can still get a good feel for the rustic graphics on the board and of your crush pads, which each player is going to have in front of them. The right side represents all the different buildings that you can acquire during the game. The top 3 spaces have fields where you can plant your vines, and then you have a crush pad on the bottom left that shows you all of the grapes and the values of them, along with small wine cellars, medium wine cellars, and large cellars that allow you to have red, white, blush, and sparkling wines. Now, there's a lot of pieces that aren't included with this that we used that were either provided to us by Jamie and Alan or we used on our own. So I don't want to show you too many of the components because they were kind of grab and go with whatever you can have. But let's take a look at the cards, which are a big factor in the game of Viticulture. There are 4 decks of cards. The green cards are the vine cards. These you will acquire and plant in your fields, and they will provide you different colors and different types of wines. So you'll see Cabernet Sauvignon, which are red grapes, and provide you 4, and then Trebbiano, which I hope I'm not slaughtering, and they'll provide you 2 white grapes. And again, you're going to plant vines to harvest grapes and then crush grapes to get different values out of them for selling or to be able to make wine and put into your cellars. Next, you have yellow cards, which are summer visitor cards. These will impact the game quite a lot. For example, you have the planter, which allows you to plant up to 3 vines. You have the benefactor, which allows you to draw 1 wine order card or 1 winter visitor card. And then you have the landscaper, which would allow you to return a vine card from one of your fields to your hand and plant a new vine card. Very impactful and things that will change the game throughout gameplay. In addition, you have wine order cards. These are the meat of the game. These allow you to fulfill objectives to score victory points and gain money. So for example, this one is 5 victory points and 2 money if you fulfill the order of 2 blush wines, 2 red wines, 2 white wines, and 5 blush wines. This one provides 6 victory points and is worth 2 lira if you have 3 white and 7 sparkling. Those are really fun because they feel like quests or objectives, and you do have to manage your resources both from a worker perspective and a grapes and vine perspective to be able to achieve that and get those wines that you can then fulfill in winter. And speaking of winter, you also have winter visitors. Winter visitors, very much like summer visitors, will do different things, although they usually will do completely different things than what happens in the summer. It gives you a nice effects to make it feel like different parts of the game. For example, this is the Queen, which allows you to draw 2 wine order cards. This is the Judge, which will give you 2 victory points in exchange for any 1 wine token in your cellar. And finally, you have the Horticulturist, which is a 50-cent word in my opinion, and age all of your grapes on your crush pad by +1. Lots of fun things to impact your resources, impact the gameplay, and keep things moving at a very good pace. Let's take a look at the game board now and give you a look at what happens during the summer, during the winter, and the seasons in between. The game starts off in spring in each round, and in spring, players will place a token next to the space on the wake-up chart where they want to wake up. The earlier you place the token, the sooner you'll go in the round. So whoever places their token in the first spot will automatically go first in the round when it gets to summer to take actions. However, they'll get no reward. Each player that places their token next to one of the slots that has a reward will actually gain that reward. So in this case, you could gain 1 lira, you could gain 1 vine card, you could draw a wine order card, gain a victory point, gain a worker for this year, or draw a summer or winter visitor. This is a really fun part of the game because every round is going to be different with people putting their character or their token on different areas to gain the different resources that they need. Now, yes, if you need 20 victory points to win the game, you could just put your token on number 5 20 times in a row, but I guarantee if you do that, you're going to lose. So after spring comes summer, which is the beginning of the worker placement phase. Summer takes place on the left side of the board, and there are different buildings where you can place your workers going in order of where you woke up on the wake-up chart, and they'll provide you different benefits. For example, you could build 1 structure, you could plant 1 vine, you could give a vineyard tour for money, you could draw a vine card, you could sell grapes, or you could play 1 summer visitor card. After everyone has placed their workers and has obtained their bonuses, you then move on to fall. And in fall, each player, depending on where they ended up on the wake-up chart, will draw either 1 summer or 1 winter visitor. Now, if you've built the cottage, for example, on your crush pad, you do get to draw 1 extra visitor card each fall. So there's ways that you can increase the amount of cards you draw as well and help you impact the game. And of course, after fall and enticing visitors to come to your winery, you then get to go on to winter, which is where the harvest comes. In winter, there again is a worker placement phase, but there's different buildings with different effects. In the winter, you can draw 1 wine order card, you can play 1 winter visitor card, you can harvest a field that you've planted, you can crush grapes that you've harvested. You can spend money to train new workers or hire out extra workers. And you can finally fulfill 1 wine order, which again is the ultimate way to achieve objectives and get victory points to win the game. After all that's done, you're going to age your grapes and your wine tokens. You're going to collect lira for orders fulfilled. And then you're going to discard down to 7 cards and rotate to the first player. Along the bottom, you'll see a track to keep track of points. You start here, can fall to a maximum or minimum of -5, with a win condition of 20 and a maximum of 25. The goal of the game is to reach 20 victory points, and when a player reaches that mid-year, the current year gets played through to the end of winter, including any residuals from wine orders, and then the player with the most points will win. Players can go beyond 20 points from a goal, but they can't exceed 25. In the case of a tiebreaker, you would first go to the player with the most lira, then to the player with the most value in their wine cellar, and then finally the total value of grapes from each player. We very rarely had it come up that those tiebreakers had to come into place, but it's good to know that you have those options so you know other strategies to go for if it's a very close game. So that is Viticulture. But what do I think? Viticulture is an inspirational game. It has a very light theme and great rustic artwork that really does make you feel like you're owning a winery in Italy and building up your coffers, or in this case, your wine cellars, and getting the right things together from your workers, your resources, and all of your assets to win the game. It's very enjoyable. It's something that I can easily see hitting the table for an entire evening around a good group of friends, hopefully with an uncorked bottle of wine. Now, It doesn't bring anything new to the worker placement genre, but what it does very well. There's very key distinctions between summer actions and winter actions, and making sure that you plan in the summer accordingly so you can reap what you sow, pardon the pun, in the winter. The visitors make a big impact on the game as well. They speed up the game and can make some pretty dramatic changes. The wake up chart is an absolute blast, being able to choose whatever reward you want to get, or possibly being on the tail end of choosing what reward you're going to get and being at the mercy of other players. Now, wine lovers are absolutely going to love this game. It's a blast, it's a ton of fun, and the theme is something that just fits perfectly for anyone who's a wine lover. For anyone who's not a wine lover, you will enjoy the worker placement, but again, it does not totally turn things on its head and give you anything brand new in that area. But that said, again, it does what it does very, very well. So on a scale of misses, hits, and crits, we're going to go ahead and give this a hit. Any way you pour it, it's a very fun game and something that could easily be enjoyed by multiple different age groups and multiple different types of people over an evening amongst friends. We'd like to go ahead and thank Jamie and Alan for providing us a print and play copy so that we could play test and share our thoughts with you, and definitely want to thank Eric at Games and Grub for introducing us to Jamie as well. In the meantime, take a look at their Kickstarter page. We'll put links on the bottom below. They're actually doing a really cool thing. They're offering a money-back guarantee. Their project's already funded. At the time we're filming this, they're at about 40,000 goal of a 25,000 goal. And what they've done is anyone who backs the game and gets a copy and doesn't like it can actually return it. I've never seen that personally. I don't even see that at most friendly local game shops. So that's a pretty cool option. Whether you are a big fan of wine or whether you're just interested in worker placement games, it gives you a great option to check out a game that I personally think is quite a bit of fun. However you pour it, we hope that you keep crushing those grapes and rolling those dice. Until next time, we hope they're all crits.